Oh yeah, it is Tuesday. I got my book, I got my notes. Today we're going through two verses. We're going through verse 19 and 20. And you may be like, well, that's a little short. But I'm telling you, verse 20 is long. And there's a lot to go deep in, so let's do that. It is Carnival here in South America now, which means, as always, lots of noise. Let's stick with it, let's see what happens. Let's go deep in the Tao. Welcome to Tao Tuesday. As of everything that I have been reading through and practicing through these 5 weeks now, a little over a month, I have come to like the theme of the Tao, the theme of practicing the Tao, living the Tao, comes to, and like a sentence is, allow and return to the Tao. Allow and return to the Tao. Because it bears with it such a surrender, and surrender is definitely some of the themes that we will go through today, especially the theme of verse 20. And I really feel like that's the essence of what I've been taught up until now. Like that's the essence. If you want to empty yourself, well then allow and return to the Tao. Because it is not having opinions about everything, right? Not having opinions, not having belief systems. We can just allow everything to be what it is without having any sort of feeling about it and return to the Tao, return to our center. With that said, now let's get started. The 19th verse. Give up sainthood, renuance wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. Throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. Throw away industry and profit, and there will be no thieves. All of these are outward forms alone. They are not sufficient in themselves. It is more important to see the simplicity, to realize one's true nature, to cast off selfishness and temper desire. That is really good. As always, let's jump right down to it. Give up sainthood, renuance wisdom, and it will be 100 times better for everyone. Now, what does he mean about this? He actually shares down in the next one. All of these are outward forms alone. They are not sufficient in themselves. Give up sainthood, renuance wisdom. If you don't know, renuance means like cast away, throw away, you know. It has nothing of worth. So just throw it away. What is a saint? A saint is one who has realized his or her true nature. That's what a saint is. What is wisdom? Wisdom is when knowledge from this place is being shared, like ultimate knowledge about nature. That is wisdom. And that comes from that place. Oh, what a sound from that taxi. And it comes from that place. So a saint is nothing more than one realizing one's own true nature and having purified their mind, which is hard work. Then that's not a saint, that's just nature, that's just the nature of the human. But then we who are not having a who are not having a pure mind, who has not realized their own true nature, says here we have a saint. But it's never the saint that claims to be a saint. The saint knows that the saint is nothing and is just resting in that place with the Tao, with the Lord. Ram Dass says this. Ram Dass says you come to this place where you are for others. You are mirroring. You're mirroring others and what they give to you. So some come and are like, Ram Dass, and then he's like, ah. And others are like, Ram Dass, and he's like, Namaste. So that way of mirroring. And I think that's kind of what the saints then are doing, having realized their own true nature and just allowing everything to be what it is. And then when people come and say, oh, you are a saint. Well, if that then is the role that you're giving on me, not me, but like as the person who have realized true self, I will go in with that role, but they're perfectly well aware that it is something given. So that's what I'm saying with all this. Saint is something giving, it's something outward, right? It's a way of being perceived by others. But by the one who has realized own true self knows that it's just there. They are just in their nature. They're not claiming themselves as saints. So it would be 100 times better for everyone, because if you're striving to be a saint, that is striving for other people to have a certain affection on you, of being perceived in a certain way. That is the way of being perceived in a certain way, as wise, as holy, as a saint. It's just something for the ego. And then we come into the realm of spiritual pride, and let's not go there, right? Throw away morality and justice, and people would do the right thing. I don't know about that, man. Like, I'm not doubting his wisdom. That's really not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, throw away morality and justice, and people will do the right thing. I don't know about that. Look what is going on with the world right now, and we do have like the framework of morality and justice from both the law and from also religion. And when I take my own journey into mind, I threw away morality. What is it? I threw away morality and justice. Well, in a certain way, I never went out and killed anyone, of course, But like in a certain way, I did. I was like, I wanted to be free. That was my desire. I wanted to be free. So in that came like, all of this that people are saying is wrong or right. I was like, fuck that, I want to be free. I'm gonna live my life freely. And I hurt a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people with my way of living because it was immoral and it was injustice. I would hurt people and would be like, you just have to let go. Not taking responsibility of my actions and the way my actions is affecting other people around me. And so right now, it took me many years, it took me a long time to get on that right path, to get on that, to listen to the calling of the heart and to get on that path where I now am doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing for myself, I'm doing the right thing for around me. And I've been very lucky and life's been very, very kind with me. So I'm thinking about when that took me such a long time and all the hard stuff that I had to go through, and I'm dedicated on this. This has been my calling for many, many, many years. I'm dedicated on this, right? So taking like the normal human being who are not dedicated on this path, but like floating around in that space where we don't know up from down or left from right, how are they going to do the right thing? I don't know. So, well, but then again, I don't know. But it is exciting. Throw away industry and profit and there will be no thieves. Yeah, and all of the status and everyone. If we just come to a place where we are all human beings and we are all doing our best in life, and life is difficult. Life is really something to master. And it is really difficult. It can be. And at times it's very easy and it's just flowing perfectly. Really is something to master. So if we could just return to that place where before we are anything, before we're boyfriend and girlfriends, before we are enemies, before we are anything, can we just return to being humans? Like we are all humans, we are all here together, and we are all doing our best in this beautiful journey called life. It is more important to see the simplicity, to realize one's true nature, to cast off selfishness and temper desire. I don't think I have any comment on that. That's more important. All right, verse number 20. This is the long one, so I hope you're ready. But it's good, it's long, but it's good. Give up learning and you will be free from all your cares. What is the difference between yes and no? What is the difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? Should I fear desolation when there is abundance? Should I fear darkness when that light is shining everywhere? In spring, some goes to the park to climb the terrace, but I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am, like a newborn babe before it learns to smile. I am alone, without a place to go. Most people have too much. I alone seem to be missing something. My mind, is indeed the mind of an ignoramus in its unadulterated simplicity. I am but a guest in this world. While others rush to get things done, I accept what is offered. I alone seem foolish, earning little, spending less. Other people strive for fame. I avoid the limelight, preferring to be left alone. Indeed, I seem like an idiot. No mind, no worries. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow aimless as the wind. All men settle down in their grooves. I alone am stubborn and remain outside. But wherein I am most different from others is in knowing to take the sustenance from the Great Mother, and knowing to take the nurturement from the Great Mother. There's some children playing down here. Oh, it's mi primas. Oh, look at that. My cousins. The cousin of my fiance, they're playing with water. Ah, that's so nice. Ah, man, what a verse, man, what a verse. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. What kind of mind is that? So that's actually funny, right? Those are the characteristics of what is not acceptable or not looked up to in society, right? That's also what he's talking about. He's like, I am lone. Where does he say? Most people here. In spring, some goes to the park and climb the terrace. But I, alone, am drifting, not knowing where I am. Ay. It's just so beautiful. And it's just like, he's very well aware of what other people are thinking about him, but still he's just want to be alone in it. Allow him to turn to the Tao, right? He's not doing anything to change how other people perceive him. He's just with the Tao. All right, let's take it from one end, shall we? Give up learning and you will be free from all of your cares. So, give up learning and you will be free from all of your cares. This is, again, I have such a feeling with allow and return to the Tao. I really feel like that's the theme here. Because give up learning is striving for something. And what he's saying is, don't strive for anything. Right here, right now, it's good enough. Right here, right now, that's how it is. And be free from all of your cares because you're not striving for anything. So, not cares, worries? No, be free from all of your cares. It's such a freedom, like we're not striving for anything, we're just in it. What is the difference between yes and no? What is the difference between good and evil? I don't know. Listen to them, so nice. I don't know. I really don't know what the difference is. What is the difference? What is the difference between yes and no? I think that the distinction or the difference can be made in where does it come from? A no can be many things. A no can be me putting down my boundary in authenticity, right? Like authentically, here's my boundary. No, I don't want that. Stop. But a no can also be, no, I'm too afraid to go out of my comfort zone. You have to go for your dreams. No, I'm too afraid. What if I fail? And then it means two very, very different things. But what is the difference between yes and no? I don't know. What is the difference between good and evil? I don't know. What is good and what is evil? Good is something that is in the presence of the greatness of the Tao. And evil must then be the opposite, right? Evil, man, they're just like, doot, because there's a big line of car right here. And evil then is the absence of the greatness of the Tao. One can have an evil intention of actually wanting to hurt people, and that's kind of what we would say would be evil. When you are in the absence of the light, right? There's no light and there's no darkness. There's only light. Well, there's no darkness, there's only light. There's light and there's absence of light, right? This makes sense. And the absence of light is what we call darkness. But we see it as two different things. like the opposites of each other. But that's not what they are. It is light. It is light and the absence of light. That's what it is. Evil then is the absence of goodness, if we're like following this. It's the absence of goodness. When you are in the absence of light, when it is so dark that you cannot see any form of direction, you cannot see up and down, you wander in the wild. And if you wander more down to the darkness, you just get to a really dark place. And I feel like the history of the human race is the testimony to that we can go into very, very horrible places. As well, when we are following the light, we can go like to, wow, we can actually go to the light and melt into the light, being light. Namaste, the light in me, acknowledge the light in you. I think that's my take on what the difference is. Must I fear what others fear? Should I fear desolation when there is abundance? Should I fear darkness when that light is shining everywhere? Funny, like we were just talking about light and darkness. So I can really relate to this. It's like, should I fear what others fear? Like there is this certain consciousness that is around, like in culture, like not culture, it's not what I'm talking about, but like there is a cultivated consciousness of worry, agreements that we all have agreed on, mistakes, that nobody is perfect, right and wrong, and failure. Stuff like that. It's like, it is a certain consciousness that we all have agreed on. Like, no one is perfect. When we look at the stars, and all of the stars are perfect, but when we look at humans, nobody is perfect. And it's such a, like, and right and wrong, it is such a distinct, it's like that consciousness level. But when we rise above it, we are not in that level anymore. We are not relating at all. Like, here, in this other state of consciousness, there is no mistakes. There's teachings and learnings. And when I go a little too much to this side, and maybe I heard one, I heard myself, it's like, wow, I really heard one here. Well, then there's teachings in understanding that was too much, I have to be more aligned here. There's also teachings in how do we resolve this conflict that is then being created. And if you're in a relationship, that's kind of what you want, right? To resolve, also friendships. Oh, they're laughing so much, it's so nice. Also friendships, and family. You want to resolve the conflict in a way that you get closer to each other. So now, there's no mistakes. Now there's no right behavior and no wrong behavior, because you are taking in the teachings. And most importantly, here's something that my grandmother says. She always says this. It is the imperfections that makes it perfect. And she always uses the story of her wedding with my grandfather. And she says the things that they remember from that wedding was all of the things that went wrong. And one of the things that she always says is that the cake went on fire, and that her newly husband, my grandfather, was running across the room with the cake on fire. And that's what she says, like, but when we look back at the wedding, it is all of the things that went wrong that we're remembering. It is the imperfect that makes it perfect. That is very beautiful. And so that's kind of like, when we're rising from that consciousness, then should I fear what others fear? Should I fear what other people think about me? Just because everyone else does that? Me too. It's a little difficult to record actually, because I can see people down here and people can see me. And I'm a gringo, I'm white, and that does get attention. So I'm actually also going through that, like, what are people thinking about me? And letting go, allow, and return to the Tao. And no, you should not fear what other people fear. Just because other people fear it, you should not fear it. But just because something is the opinion of many does not mean that it's true. Does not mean that it's right. For example, nobody's perfect. Well, on the contrary, everyone is perfect. Everyone is beautiful. Everyone is perfect just as they are right now. How do we get that experience? We allow and return to the Tao. We allow that which is to be what it is without having any opinion about it whatsoever. It is none of our concern. How other people are feeling is none about our concern. We just allow everyone and everything to be as it is, and we return to center. We return to the Tao. In spring, some go to the park and climb the terrace. But I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am, like a newborn babe before it learns to smile. I am alone, without a place to go. Wow, man, that description is just... There is a saying from this spiritual master, and I love it, that loneliness is the absence of other. Aloneness is the presence of oneself. And when I'm reading this, I'm getting loneliness, man. But I know that he's not lonely. But what he is describing is aloneness. What he is describing is aloneness, the presence of oneself. Like a newborn babe before it learns to smile. I am alone without a place to go. But I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am. Like a newborn babe, like that is so beautiful. And exactly like a babe, right? A baby is just drifting in where it's being taken. It does not know language. It does not know belief systems. It does not know anything. But the baby has like pure open eyes, observing the world, drifting where life is taking it. Not being able to do anything about it. Not knowing where it is, right? Not knowing where it is. But the security of being with the parents is like so profound. It does not need to know where it is. And maybe that's kind of what he's saying, like he does not need to know where he am because he's resting so much in the Tao. Most people have too much. I alone seem to be missing something. My mind is indeed the mind of an ignoramus, which is unintelligent. In its unadulterated simplicity, I am but a guest in this world. While others rush to get things done, I accept what is offered. I alone seem foolish, earning little, spending less. I don't know if I need to say anything about that. That is just in its simplicity. That's also what he says later down, like his mind is so simple, his mind is so empty. It's just, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? A simple mind. I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. What I'm getting from this is, what is the meaning of life? Because the way that he shares it, like this is his mind, right? I drift like a wave on the ocean. I blow as aimless as the wind. What is the meaning of life? Like we are in such a rush to chase something that will fulfill us. But when we look at nature, it's like everything is just being what it's being. Right? The birds fly and they sing, the trees stand and go in the wind, the waves go up and the waves go down. The wind blows. Everything is living, everything is alive. And just being what they are. And then maybe human beings are also just being what we are, like in search for meaning, in search of more, in search of happiness. That we are actually also just being our nature, like searching for what we lost. That is then also just a part of that whole expression, that whole thing expressing itself. Yeah, beautiful. Let's end it. All men settle down in their grooves. I alone am stubborn and remain outside. But wherein I am most different from others is, I, in knowing to take sustenance from the Great Mother. From the Tao, that's what he calls the Great Mother. Beautiful. That was very, very long. A good one. A lot of stuff to go in. Also his behavior in the world, right? His behavior in the world is such a behavior of, he's so outside of everything. He's so outside of everything. He's a fool, he's weird, and he's alone. It's such a loneliness. That's what I feel. That's what I put into it. I put loneliness into it, but definitely not what he's feeling. Probably more feeling the aloneness, right? Loneliness, the absence of other. Aloneness, the presence of oneself. And yeah, let's end it here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something out of it. I really did enjoy. Right now the cameras are very hot, so it's just like stopping and starting all over. Thank you. Take care, have a beautiful day, have a beautiful life, and see you next Tuesday on Tao Tuesday, Living the Tao, number 6. That's crazy. It's already been like 5 weeks, and now we're nearing 6 weeks. So yeah, that's super crazy. Have a beautiful day. Be happy.